Good morning. It's Jonathan Barratt with this week's war report, the week ahead report. It's 7:40. It's the 8th of November 2010, and last week was quite an interesting week. Obviously, RBA putting up interest rates, and the Fed coming out with their spending program. Would have been perhaps nice if both of them actually talked a little bit. As a result of that, the Aussie dollar is at 101.34. Looks as strong as 10 men. But on Friday night, we saw the US dollar come under, or actually become quite well bid, given the recourse as what's occurred with the stimulus package. We're going to try and work out why that is the case, that the US dollar is certainly off its lows, but the Aussie still on its highs. Maybe needs to play a little bit of catch-up. Let's see what happens. But if anything there, commodities still seem to be trading very well bid, and I think this is all on the back of the stimulus. So let's see what happens there, because the dollar did actually flip around a little bit. We'll have a look at that chart. But anyway, let's get our mindset into the week and just have a quick refresh as to what's happened overnight or on Friday. And if anything, let's go straight back to there. Have a quick look here. Oops. There we go. Just a quick refresh. The Dow obviously was up. Unemployment was good, up 150,000. Seems to me that stimulus is certainly there. Unemployment rate still remains stubbornly high at 9.6. The Dow was up 9. The S&P was up 4. The top 50 was down 8 in Europe. And FTSE was up 12, and the DAX was up 19. Local, closer to home, the SPY was up 18 at 4,829. So that wasn't too bad, but let's just have a quick look at, what is actually happening out there. First of all, let's look at the dollar index, because I think this is a little bit interesting. Then we'll run through some of the figures. Some of the figures this week, not expecting too great things, but we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. That's the chart of the dollar index. The dollar index in itself had a good jump, and when we look at these charts here, it is on its lows, but if it can get through there, this could be the end of, or a bit more strength for the dollar. But something we've been looking for, but when it broke through on the back of the stimulus, it was a concern we had. We're just holding out there at the moment because it is on major lows. One thing the dollar is doing, as we all are all aware, it is actually obviously making the US deficit a little bit narrower, which is obviously what the Fed's trying to achieve. But in doing so, are they actually turning around and creating more of an inflationary environment, or can commodities be cleared through the market? And I think this is a concern we've had for a while, and it's a theme which everyone's well aware of. Let's just run through a few of them. We saw the dollar index there, but even though the dollar index was a little bit better bid, some of the commodities also remained on their highs. So in my mind, that's going to be quite interesting in terms of how those things unfold. This is just a chart of the dollar. Of crude. And as you can see with crude, we're trading up at those record highs. Something we wouldn't have really expected. But we did mention that this was more of a consolidative type of pattern which developed, and obviously we saw that break out in 3 or 4 straight days of going higher. So now the key is whether or not she can stay above this level, and is in fact it's the oil price that's keeping up here in terms of supply and demand, or is it just the dollar? That's something we really have to find out. Same here with the copper, although copper is slightly different. Copper in itself does have certain supply restrictions on it, and that could keep it high. But as you can see there, quite a solid move in terms of what it's done. So let's see. Gold, 1393. Obviously, as we expect, dollar weakness, gold goes up. That's what we're at. We're at just those highs we've seen before, and see whether or not the market can actually trade through that and keep on trading. We did have a look at that 1400. That's a level which is out there. Now this is the Aussie, and if you look at the Aussie stayed high. And there it is there, right on its highs. Yet the euro has come right under pressure here. As you can see, that only happened in the last little bit of trading. Hang on, let's just get the right chart here. There you go. And as you can see, the last 2 hours, or on an hourly chart, you can see that the euro's actually gone quite well bid. Quite well off it, and the dollar's gone bid. So it's a little bit. We're going to have to do a little more work on that just to see exactly what happens. Dollar yen also looks quite strong as well. Talking to the local market now, 4,830. If we can stay above that 4,720, which was an area we had, then everything looks all right. If it breaks back below it, then that'll be certainly a warning sign for a lot of us as to a little bit of moving around in the prices. So just be careful on that. Let's have a look at also to what we've got coming out. And I think if anything here, let's go back, just ramp that back a little bit. Okay, now there's enough data, but not a lot of data. It'll keep us going. Obviously, a lot out of Japan coming today, but we've got IP out of Germany, which is very important, but not as large as we'd expect. We want some good numbers out of the States again. But as you can see, going through the numbers, we've got UK IP and manufacturing, a little bit of data there, ABC confidence in America, but we're working through the week, and Wednesday, the 10th, IP once again, and some of the European nations, a little bit of data there in America, but none of the big ones so far. Obviously in Australia, the most important one will be our unemployment rate coming out on Thursday. That'll be a very key one to keep an eye on. And when you come down to Friday, once again, there's not a hell of a lot of data out there in America. So it's going to be one of those weeks, I think, where the market will try and just work its way through, work through the stimulus packages that we've had. Let's see what the US dollar does. It was quite an interesting little feature there. I think the euro went offered when some of the commodities still remain relatively bid. So I'm going to be pretty keen to see exactly how that unfolds. But stay close to it. Not a lot of data out this week. Find a little bit hard. Try and get some traction. And perhaps the market might just consolidate as a result of that. But I think there's still a lot to go. See what Ben does as well. But as always, it's going to be an interesting week. So let's stay close to it. Good luck.